Hello everyone, it's Mary Rose here at Stitch Bliss Corner. Thank you for dropping by. I'd like to thank people who have watched, and I've also like to, and for commenting as well. Please ask me anything you like. I'm a free thinker, and as my husband would tell you, I'm never short of an opinion. Now, also, it occurred to me that there are a lot of busy stitchers with careers and children. So if there is any particular aspect of anything really that you'd like looked into, if you've always wondered something, why this or why that, just ask me in the comments and I'd be quite happy to go and look into it and present it on a future video. I mean, for example, the term round robin that gets used a lot in cross stitching. That came from from striking days. Well, I mean, people still strike, but in the Victorian times, I think is when it first came out. If you had to sign a document as a worker that was to do with industrial dispute or anything like that, then the signatories would sign in a circular pattern. So the start of the name would be in the middle, outwards, like a cartwheel, like the spokes of a wheel. So it wasn't a name topping the list, for example, so you wouldn't be singled out. So that's why they used to sign round robin, so that all the signatures, there was no one at the top. That's an example. So if there's anything that you've ever wondered, I mean, I know with the internet now you could probably find out, but you're not always, free to do so because you're too busy. So I'm quite happy to do that. Just thought I'd put that out there, as is my wont. Anyway, look, I was looking through some things and I came across something that I haven't seen for a while. Now, this was something, it's 50 years old because I did it when I was in high school. And I think I was around 13 or 14. So now you know how old I am. Anyway, we used to have needlework classes and you had to pick a major work to do. And I picked Spanish blackwork. And I thought, well, this will be interesting because I'll be able to find the actual initial pattern that I did and show you. But I can't find the pattern in there. So whether or not I bought this thinking that I was going to take it out of there, I don't know. But I can't find it. So I must have used another one. Anyway, so here it is. And of course, the main thing was that the back had to look the same as the front. So you couldn't show where you started off or where you ended off. It was a kind of tyranny, really, wasn't it? I mean, that's going to cruel your imagination and, a creativity, shall we say. But I think it was probably more to do with disciplining yourself. I mean, that's probably was part of it anyway. And of course, the edging, it was the same. You shouldn't have been able to see the stitches on the right side. That's whip stitch along there. And you had to try and make the fabric straight. See how matching up to the... So there was no crookedness there. And and then the corners, you had to turn those in using a certain method. Fascinating. It's showing its age, like someone else not too far away. Anyway, so that got me onto just looking at some of the black work that I've done. I did show you something in one of the other videos, and it got cut short because my husband had to remove a part of it because there was a chart in there accidentally put in there, which is easy to do because it's black work. I mean, they're very similar to the chart, the actual picture. But I can show you this one because it is the picture, and it's that one there. And I mean, that border, it's really quite lovely, isn't it? Very simple design, but complex at the same time. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? Tudor rose, lily and pansy motifs like these were used extensively in 16th century embroideries. Roses were the emblems of the Tudor kings. Well, we all know about the Tudor kings, don't we? And I stitched that one. And it was very enjoyable. And I think what makes this work is the simplicity of it. Even though it's quite intricate on the border there. Which brings me to the folly that you can fall into sometimes if you let your head go too much. And I'll explain what I mean. Now, that's the picture of the one that I showed you the other day that I'm bringing out again. And it works because it's simple, even though there's a bit of colour in there. It's not overdone. And I entered onto the stage. I mean, just look at those flowers there around the edge. Okay. Not content with that, I went mad. Absolutely barking mad with this. Now, I think I can be forgiven for putting the flowers, the roses, the climbing roses there. I'll forgive myself there. But the rest of it, no, it just doesn't work. And I think that's a lesson that I've learned for you, that you don't have to fall into the same trap. Because it's just so easy to just keep going and keep going. And the more you put on there, the more you think, oh, eventually it's going to look right. But this certainly didn't end up looking right. You know, I mean, I was like a child with a box of coloured pencils that had just discovered glitter. You know, those glitter pens? No. So stick to, well, I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm telling myself to just be a little more restrained and not think that more is better, because less is definitely more in this particular design. I mean, I've even got, as I said the other day, I've even got beads on there. Look at that. And as if I wasn't content just with beads on her sleeve, but he got a big dose of beads as well. I mean, really. Oh, anyway. Oh, gee. Now, the other thing I just wanted to go into. This particular book is just lovely. Uh, it's Frances Kennett and Belinda Scarlett, Traditional Needlepoint, and it's inspired from the stately homes of England. And although it's needlepoint, you can adapt them all to cross stitch. And I will show this book in more detail in a future video, but to do it justice, because it's just fabulous. But I just wanted to show you a couple of things in here, and then I'll show you the stitching. One of the ones I'm going to show you is inspired by that cat there. And the other one is this, rather magnificent fish. Well, he's sort of a fish, but he's also a serpent in a way, because he's got that big coily tail. I'll try and put it around the other way. That's better. And, excuse me, what a lot of the stitchers used to do at the time was they would stitch something and then cut it out and then applique it to a curtain or a drape, you know, around the big four-poster beds, to make it more interesting. I should imagine some of them were symbolic of something, and that's how they used to do it. Now, this, I did him the cat cushion. He just looks so comfortable, doesn't he? And still alert. I mean, his eyes still open, so obviously he's there, you know, ready to leap if he needs to. But at the same time, you know, I mean, cats are amazing. They can just be lying there and then suddenly they can leap up, can't they? But he looks pretty content to me. Might have just had his dinner. So that was him. And of course he works because I didn't come along and decide to add all and sundry to him. I didn't give him whiskers. Well, not, you sort of got a hint of them there. But I didn't outline his ears, and I didn't do anything to him. I just did him. And that's why he works. Whereas the fish that I did, once again, the glitter pen came out. Now, I think what I was after was to try and make him look like he had scales. And that's why I put some of the glitter there. But I certainly didn't need as much as I put in there. I think just one or two hints would have been quite enough. And he hasn't got the curly in his tail. That wasn't in the chart. But I suppose I could have worked one out, because I think he would have looked more interesting with a big curly tail in there. So really, I think the lesson that I learned was, don't keep stitching to think that you're going to fix something that's not fixable. You might be better off to put it aside for a while and work out what would be best for it. Because, I mean, it's a lot of time and effort. And, you know, if I'd have stopped at just the roses going over the archway, it probably would have been a lot better than it was. I mean, as it is. Anyway, that's all I had to say today. I hope you're doing well with all your projects and everything. As I said, please ask me anything you like. And in the meantime, happy stitching, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.